Please be advised that there is a disclaimer for this presentation. This is a student presentation using a hypothetical scenario for educational purposes. The presenter is a student at UAMS, not a representative of the agency named in the following slides. The information contained herein does not necessarily reflect the views of said agency. This presentation is about mercury exposure in Phillips County, Arkansas. It is for Environmental and Occupational Health Class 5102 for the University of Arkansas for Medical Science in the College of Public Health. In this presentation, we will be discussing mercury exposure in Phillips County, Arkansas. My name is Emily Blake, and I am an environmental health specialist with the Arkansas Department of Health. In the link provided below on this slide, it will take you to a map of Arkansas and all of its counties. Phillips County, in particular, is bordered along Lee County, Monroe County, Arkansas County, Dacia County, and also the Mississippi runs along the eastern side of the county. In today's presentation, we will be discussing what is mercury and how does it affect your health, the sources of mercury and exposure, location of coal-fired power plants in Arkansas, the importance of proper disposal of mercury-containing products, health risk, steps you can take to reduce your risk of mercury exposure, and your role in protecting your health and the environment. There are various sources of mercury in Arkansas. One major source of mercury is coal-fired power plants, which release large amount of the toxic substance into the air. In addition, industrial activities such as mining and metal processing can also contribute to mercury contamination in the environment. But it's not just the industry that's to blame. Everyday products like thermometers, fluorescent light bulbs, and batteries can also contain mercury, and improper disposal of these items can lead to contamination of soil and waterways. Even fish caught in local lakes and rivers can be contaminated with mercury, making it important for residents to be aware of the risk and to take crucial steps to protect themselves. Here's a list of the locations of the 5 coal-fired power plants in Arkansas. Including in this list, it provides the name and the town that they're in. Flint Creek is located in Gentry, Arkansas. Independence is located in Newark, Arkansas. The John W. Turk Jr. power plant is located in Fulton, Arkansas. Plum Point power plant is located in Mississippi County. White Bluff power plant is located in Redfield. In the link provided below, it will take you to a list of the various power plants in the entire state of Arkansas. Mercury is a naturally occurring element that is found in the Earth's crust. It is a heavy metal that can exist in various forms, including elemental mercury, inorganic mercury compounds, and organic mercury compounds. Mercury is a global pollutant that can travel long distances through the atmosphere and can be deposited in water bodies and on land. Exposure to mercury can have adverse effects on human health. The most common route of exposure is through consumption of contaminated fish and seafood. When mercury enters the body, it can accumulate in various organs, particularly the brain and kidneys. Prolonged exposure to high levels of mercury can result in neurological damage, including impaired cognitive functioning, memory loss, and tremors. It can also affect the cardiovascular system, immune system, and reproductive system. Continuing forward, I would like to discuss more on health. Exposure to mercury can pose significant health risks to humans. Mercury exposure can be through inhalation, ingestion, or dermal contact. Mercury can have toxic effects on various organs and systems. The specific health risks associated with mercury exposure depend on the form of mercury, duration, level exposure, and individual susceptibility. Here are some of the potential health risks. Neurological effects. Mercury has a strong affinity for the nervous system and can cause neurological damage. Fetuses and young children are particularly vulnerable to neurotoxic effects of mercury, which can result in developmental delays and learning disabilities. Mercury also has renal effects. Mercury can also target the kidneys and cause renal damage. Inorganic mercury compounds can accumulate in the kidneys over time and impair their function. This can lead to kidney dysfunction and ultimately kidney failure. There are also cardiovascular effects. Some studies have suggested a potential link between mercury exposure and cardiovascular diseases. High level of mercury in the body may contribute to increased blood pressure, heart rate, and the development of atherosclerosis. However, more research is needed to establish a definitive causal relationship. In addition to these specific health effects, mercury exposure has been associated with other adverse outcomes such as reproductive toxicity, immune system dysfunction, and gastrointestinal disturbances. Proper disposal of mercury-containing products is crucial to prevent environmental contamination. Mercury can be found in a variety of household items such as thermometers, fluorescent light bulbs, and batteries. Improper disposal of these products can lead to the release of mercury in the environment, where it can contaminate soil and water sources. One example of the dangers of improper disposal can be seen in a case of a local landfill. In 2015, a study found that the landfill contained high levels of mercury due to improper disposal of fluorescent light bulbs. The contaminated soil and groundwater posed a risk to both human health and the environment. To ensure proper disposal, it is recommended to contact local waste management authorities or recycling centers for guidance on how to safely dispose of mercury-containing products. Since mercury is a toxic heavy metal that can have detrimental effects on human health and the environment, it is important to take steps to reduce exposure to mercury in order to protect ourselves and future generations. Here are some steps that can be taken to minimize exposure of mercury. Avoid consuming contaminated fish or limit consumption of contaminated fish. Since mercury accumulates in fish, it's important to be aware of which types of fish are more likely to contain higher levels of mercury and limit their consumption. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration provides guidelines on safe levels of fish consumption for different populations, including pregnant women, nursing mothers, and young children. Minimizing exposure in the workplace can also help reduce risk and exposure. Certain occupations, such as mining, dentistry, manufacturing, may involve working with mercury or mercury-containing materials. Employers should implement proper safety measures and provide appropriate training to reduce the risk of exposures among workers. This may include using protective equipment, implementing ventilation systems, and following safe handling procedures. Another thing to discuss is to be cautious with traditional remedies. Some traditional medications and remedies, particularly those from certain cultures or regions, may contain mercury or other toxic substances. It is important to be aware of potential risk associated with these remedies and always consult healthcare professionals before using them. Choosing alternative to mercury-containing products is another way to reduce risk and exposure to mercury. In various industries, there are alternatives that do not contain mercury or use it in reduced quantities. For example, compact fluorescent lamps can be replaced with energy-efficient LED bulbs that do not contain mercury. By opting for mercury-free alternatives, we can contribute to reducing the overall demand for mercury and its potential environmental health impact. Promote clean energy sources is another way to reduce risk of exposure of mercury. Coal-fired power plants are a significant source of mercury emissions. Supporting and advocating for the use of cleaner energy sources such as renewable energy like solar, wind, and hydroelectric can help reduce mercury pollutions in the atmosphere. Here are some ways you can protect your health and the environment. Educating yourself and others raises awareness about risk associated with mercury exposure and is crucial in minimizing its impact. Stay informed about the sources of mercury exposure, health effects, and preventative measures. Share this knowledge with friends, family, and community members and encourage responsible actions. Individuals can take steps to minimize exposure to mercury vapor in their homes. This can be done by avoiding the use of mercury-containing products whenever possible. Individuals can play a role in protecting their health and the environment by advocating for stricter regulations on mercury emissions from industrial sources and supporting initiatives that promote the use of cleaner technology. By raising awareness about the dangers of mercury and taking action to reduce exposures, individuals can contribute to a healthier environment for themselves and the future. In summary, mercury is a heavy metal that can have detrimental effects on human health. Exposure to mercury can occur through various sources, including contaminated fish consumption and exposure to mercury-containing products. Proper disposal of these products is essential to prevent environmental contamination. Individuals can take steps to reduce the risk of mercury exposure by being aware of potential sources and minimizing the use of mercury-containing products. Lastly, by taking action, individuals can play a role in protecting their health and the environment. If you would like to discuss this further or have any questions, feel free to contact me at the Arkansas Department of Health Environmental Health Services at 501-666-999. Please also visit www.healthy.arkansas.gov, which will provide an abundant of information concerning mercury in Arkansas. In concluding this presentation, I would like to open the floor with any questions or comments that you have concerning mercury exposure and its health risk. In the last two slides, I have provided references in which I used to prepare for this presentation. Thank you for having me, and this concludes my presentation for you today.